Hey guys, okay, so this is the fourth video of the series, and I'm going to talk about the mean value theorem and the average value of a function. Now, this is a really short video because the questions are very straightforward. They specifically ask you to either use the mean value theorem or the average value of a function, but I'll explain these two to you. So here we go. Okay, so let's get started. The mean value theorem. It is extremely straightforward. If a function f is continuous on the closed interval, then there exists a number c in that closed interval such that the following formula is true. So if we look carefully at this formula, we can see that the left-hand side is a definite integral, and they're saying that this is equal to the same thing as f of c times b minus a. Well, f of c times b minus a would be the width of the area, and f of c would be the height. So if we take a look at this graph, it's the best way to describe it. Let's try to use some mathematical terms. So the blue rectangle would be considered inscribed. So it's the lower sum, like we did in previous videos. And the orange rectangle would be circumscribed, or the upper sum. Now they're saying that there's got to be a value of c such that f of c, which is the height, multiplied by the width of the area, would give me the area underneath the curve. So this theorem guarantees the existence of a c value. Let's take a look at an example. Let's try to find that value of c. So we have this function 9 over x cubed from 1 to 3. If we apply the formula, on the left hand side I have the definite integral of 9 over x cubed dx from 1 to 3 is equal to f of c times b minus a. Remember that f of c is the height, b minus a is the width. So if I replace my values, I can see that if I were to evaluate this definite integral, I would end up with an area of 4. And simply replace b and a with the values that are given to me. So if I were to replace, solve for c, I end up with the cube root of 4.5. Now, that means that if I evaluate f of c, multiply it by b minus a, I end up with a value of 4. That's how simple this is. The mean value, the average value. So there's an average value that will allow me to find the area underneath the curve. Okay, so let's take a look at the definition of the average value of a function on an interval. So this is the formula that we use for this. Now, how is it any different than the one we just learned previously? Well, one is a definition, one is a theorem. But let me explain to you how they work or how different they are. The mean value theorem helps me find c, whereby the average value allows me to find f of c. That's the only difference between the two. So let's take a look at this example we did previously. We had f of x equal to 9 over x cubed from 1 to 3. I simply apply this formula for average value, which is 1 over b minus a times the definite integral of the function. I find my antiderivative, evaluate my antiderivative, simplify, I end up with a value of 2. Now what is 2? 2 is simply f of c. And this f of c is the average height of the rectangle. So the area is simply equal to f of c times b minus a. The average value multiplied by the width of the area. And that's 2 times 2, which equals 4, as we found previously. If we were to take a look at this picture, it makes a little bit more sense. We have that little orange rectangle, which is really the lower sum. We have the blue one, which is the upper sum. And therefore, there's a value of c somewhere, an average value between a and b, such that the height multiplied by the width would give me the same area. And that's how simple this is. So going back to the previous example, we knew, or we found c to be the cube root of 4.5. We have our function 9 over x cubed. If I were to evaluate f of c, I would end up with 9 over the cube root of 4.5 cubed, and that would give me a value of 2, which is f of c. So, the mean value theorem helps me find c, but the average value allows me to find f of c. And like the ending of every video, practice, practice, practice. It's the most important thing. That's the only way you learn theorems and definitions. Remember one thing, that these questions are very straightforward. They will specifically tell you which process to use. So for example, these are the type of questions you would be getting. find the value or values of C guaranteed by the mean value theorem. So you would use the formula for the mean value theorem to find the value of C. Or the question would be, find the average value of a function over the given interval. And therefore you would use the formula for the average value of a function. I hope this helps. Enjoy, and good luck.